Yeah, hopefully this the one that works. Yeah. Okay, here we go. What's going on, Seaport? It's Pac-Man Jones with Savannah Seaport News. What's going on, man? Everybody? Yeah, I'm tripping, man. I'm trying to see if my audio is straight, but everything is all right. But I'm not gonna make this a very long live stream. You know, I gotta be up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But it's not about me. It's about this guy. I seen something today that it kind of like just blew my mind. I seen this article that the news was reporting on, and well, the reason why I did this live stream is because a lot of y'all think that, you know, oh man, he just making this stuff up. Oh man, you don't know what you talking about, Pac-Man. Oh man, you don't like. Okay, well that's cool that you think that way, but let me show you what other media outlets are reporting on this, and I'll just get y'all feedback or opinions, you know, when we get through with it. But let's get started with it. I seen something. Now this is on WSAV. Savannah police say man was injured in fall, not by excessive force. As you see in that photo right there. You know. Well, we just get into the story. I just save my responses for later. But the Savannah Police Department, SPD, says their officers acted appropriately and professionally in an incident that sent a handcuffed man to the hospital. Photos of Zaid Jackson spurred backlash on social media over the weekend. Jackson's family said he was pulled over for a traffic stop and later ended up in the emergency room. They claim he was beaten by two Savannah police officers and taken to jail. SPD Chief Roy Mentor on Sunday said the information being reported about his injuries aren't consistent with what occurred during the arrest. And of course, what you see on Roy Mentor Twitter, came from his Twitter page. You've seen that SPD has completed a preliminary review of the arrest of Zaid Jackson. His family has been advised that the info that is being reported regarding Jackson's injuries are not consistent with what occurred during his arrest. We will have a formal response for this matter tomorrow. Well, it should have been today, but the department released a formal response Monday afternoon stating that Jackson ran from officers in handcuffs and hit his face on the ground. Now, this is quoted, officers initially had contact with Jackson, who ages 35, during a traffic stop at White Bluff Road and Television Circle. That's off of Television. That's on the south side. I'm trying to think. Television Circle. That's I think that's like OC Welch is in that area. But anyway, around 2:40 a.m. April the 3rd. So this was just last month. The stop was initiated because the effective tail light and the tag on his 1995 Chevrolet Trailblazer came back uninsured. Jackson provided his driver license and insurance card, but the officers were unable to confirm if the vehicle had valid insurance. While speaking with Jackson, the officers could smell weed coming from the vehicle. He requested Jackson exit the vehicle, but he refused and rolled up his window. The officer opened his door again, requesting Jackson exit the vehicle, but Jackson refused and fled at a high rate of speed, striking two curbs and almost striking a Savannah Police Patrol vehicle. Officers did not pursue Jackson at the time, but obtained warrants for his obstruction, reckless driving, and fleeing and attempting to elude. Now, around 9:20 p.m. May the 2nd, an officer initiated a traffic stop on the same Chevrolet Trailblazer that he observed the driver driving aggressively in traffic and making lane changes without a signal in the area of Montgomery and 38th Streets. Officers then learned that Jackson, who was driving the vehicle, had several outstanding warrants. Jackson appeared cooperative with officers and was placed in handcuffs behind his back. While the officers was waiting for the warrants to be confirmed, Jackson began running from the scene and soon after fell, striking his face on the ground. That his left side of the face is what allegedly police are saying that he fell. Now I just get to my opinions at the end, but you already know how this is gonna go. Now this is quoted again. Officers immediately called for EMS. They immediately called for EMS and then transported Jackson to Memorial Medical Center to be treated. After being medically cleared from the hospital, Jackson was booked into the Chatham County Detention Center. Yeah, shout out to everybody that's watching. Shout out Adrian, shout out Ronnie Dwight, Mr. North Memphis. Damn, you always been in one of my videos. But going back to the matter at hand, after reviewing the body camera footage of the incident, I can say confidentially that our officers treated Mr. Jackson professionally and courteously during the entire incident, said Chief Roy Minter. Upon learning from the injuries he suffered after the falling, the officers immediately got him medical attention. It is unfortunate that the professionalism of the Savannah Police Department was questioned so quickly from an allegation made on social media. The Savannah Police Department takes these claims seriously, and if it was determined that officers were inappropriate, it would have been dealt with swiftly. The department added that the body camera footage will not be released at the time because it is part of an ongoing investigation. But News 3, well, WSAV got a report on it, and this is actually on the website. And this is from last month on the 3rd, April the 3rd. Officer Adam Creamer, and as you can see the location, where it's at, the date, reported time, 2:41 in the morning. What else? Date of birth is born in 1983, so that makes him 35. And you charge him with fleeing to elude, and charge him with some other charges. But let's keep on scrolling. Blackmail. I keep on scrolling. I'm trying to read the. Okay, he had a red car. Okay. On April the 3rd, 2019, around 2:41 a.m., while on uniformed patrol in a marked police vehicle, I observed a red and colored Chevrolet Blazer traveling southbound on White Bluff Road. The Blazer did not have a tag light. When I ran the Blazer's Georgia license plate, I ain't gonna say that, but through GCIC and NCIC, I guess that's the database that they run all the license plates and tag plates through, I found that the vehicle was registered to a Mr. Zay Jackson that did not have a valid insurance. I pulled behind the vehicle and initiated a traffic stop by using my blue lights and siren at White Bluff Road and Television Circle. The driver pulled into the Edible Arrangements parking lot on Abercorn Street. The entrance to this parking lot is on White Bluff Road. I approached the vehicle and introduced myself to the driver. While I introduced myself, I noticed that a strong odor of air freshener was coming from the inside of the vehicle. I asked the driver of his driver's insurance. While the driver was pulling his license from his wallet, he asked me the reason for the traffic stop. I asked the driver, whom I had identified at this point as Mr. Zay Jackson, that the reason I was stopping him was because that his tag light was out. I was also advised that Mr. Jackson, while I was running his license plate, I was able to see that he did not have any insurance on his vehicle. Major fuck up. But anyways, Mr. Jackson did not provide me with his insurance card. The insurance card was a First Acceptance Insurance Company of Georgia card with policy number, whatever the hell that is. The insured person listed on the insurance card was Zay Jackson. Winter was on the scene and stood by Mr. Jackson while I returned to my vehicle for his information. While in my police vehicle, I ran Mr. Jackson information through the database, I'll just say that, and found Mr. Jackson had to have a valid Georgia driver's license. Then I attempted to call the First Acceptance Insurance Company of Georgia to confirm Mr. Jackson did have insurance with the vehicle. I was unable to determine if the vehicle had valid insurance at the time. I returned to Mr. Jackson to advise him that I was unable to confirm his insurance status at the time. Mr. Jackson stated that he could pull up proof that he had recently paid his insurance bill and offered to show me this on his cell phone. Mr. Jackson pulled up an article on the cell phone from an insurance company, but I was still unable to determine if his insurance was valid. Okay, so he actually tried to prove that his insurance was straight. I mean, if he had the audacity to say, "Hey, check my cell phone." But while I was speaking with Mr. Jackson, the odor of air freshener had dissipated, and I was able to smell the odor of marijuana coming from the car. I asked Mr. Jackson if there were anything inside of the vehicle that I needed to know about. He had advised me there was not. Then I asked Mr. Jackson, was there any marijuana inside the vehicle? Mr. Jackson responded by saying, "Oh no, why would I have marijuana in the car? I just came from visiting my friends. I'm going home." I advised Mr. Jackson that I was able to smell marijuana inside the vehicle, and I asked him to step out the vehicle. Mr. Jackson then stated, "So we're really going through this over a tail light, a tag light, and my insurance, and now you smell marijuana in the car. Really? It's 2 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday night, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning. Really?" I advised Mr. Jackson that yes, he was being advised to step out the vehicle. Mr. Jackson then took his seatbelt off and then began using his cell phone. Mr. Jackson started to roll up his windows, so I reached down and opened the driver's side door to the vehicle. Once the door was open, I asked Mr. Jackson to step out the vehicle. Again, Mr. Jackson replied with, "Seriously?" I advised Mr. Jackson that I was serious. Mr. Jackson then attempted to close the door. I held the door open and Mr. Jackson stated, "I can't close my door." I responded by telling Mr. Jackson, "No sir, you're being asked to step out the vehicle." Mr. Jackson then quickly reached up and pulled his vehicle into drive. When he did this, I attempted to reach in and grab him, but I was able to grab onto his hair and attempted grab onto his hair, really? And attempted to pull him to the vehicle, but I was unsuccessful as he sped off. I think a lot of officers make that mistake of, if this guy's pulling off, I'm gonna just grab onto him. That's happened to the last dude, the last officer that got dragged for like a few hundred feet until he let go. But anyways, Mr. Jackson squealed his tires as he quickly sped through the parking lot. I got on my radio and I aired the event to nearby officers. I observed Mr. Jackson drive over 2 curbs at a high rate of speed and almost collide with Officer Estep, who was in her vehicle. Officer Estep was parked at the Bank of Ozarks. That's on Abercorn Street. I think that was close. I think that's close by where he got pulled over at. But anyways, in reference to a traffic stop that she had conducted, I watched Officer Estep quickly move her vehicle to keep from being struck by the fleeing Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson then turned and the Bank of Ozarks building obstructed my view where I could no longer see him, so he was out of his sight. I was able to hear the sound of his tires squealing and his engine racing as he continued to flee. At this point, I returned to my vehicle, deactivated my blue lights, and began driving to the precinct. I still had Mr. Jackson's driver license and insurance card in my possession. Damn. See, that's where you fucked up. See, once you got your license, you free to go. But once he got your license, there's no point. You can flee all you want, but as long as he got your license, he got where you stay, he got all your information, and especially if you had your insurance card. So I was then advised over my radio that he was continuing to flee south on Abercorn Street. Scott advised me later that he observed the vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed driving on Abercorn Street. Mr. Jackson, Georgia driver's license and insurance card were logged into the SPD property room and protocol. A lookout for the vehicle was aired by SPD dispatchers. A Savannah Police Department vehicle apprehension attempt was formed and completed. My BWC was active and recorded the entire event. After the event, I reviewed Mr. Jackson's history in Phoenix and observed that he has been charged with fleeing to elude on February 11th, 2001 and in November 3rd, 2006. Now that's it for that one. But I want y'all to look at his face. Now, all that stuff I just said, does that look consistent with him falling? Now, I didn't get to him falling in this document, but I think WTOC. This is where I got the picture from. Excuse me, y'all. Okay, yeah, this is where he fell on the ground. While officers was waiting on the warrants to be confirmed, officials say Jackson took off from the scene and fell, hitting his face on the ground. He fell and hit his face on the ground. Okay, well, I'll just say this. And there's another picture of him as well. This is one of them. Damn, I can't. Where's the other one at? Anyway, now, do these look like injuries that you get from falling? Now, I ain't gonna lie. I slip and fall every now and then. You know, I slip on my arm. I might slip on my ass. I might slip and fall anywhere on my body. But usually when people fall, they try to, you know, push their hands out and, you know, just brace the fall at least. You know, some people try to brace the fall with their legs. Some people brace the fall with their butt. Not too many people brace their fall with their own face. I mean, Buddy looked really fucked up. I mean, his eyes, I don't look like he can open it. His face is bruised below his nose on the left side, and this is all on the left side. So I'm assuming that he fell. Question mark? Not even question mark, but assuming that he fell. Okay, on the left side of his face, leaving him with a busted lip, and like he has some bruises on the chest. It doesn't look like a tattoo. Only thing I can say about this, and I know I read this earlier today, and I'm like, bro, like, there's no way possible that this is a fall. Like, people just don't fall like this. I don't care if you fell on a curb, you don't fall like that, you know. And even if you do fall, you know, the bruise is in one spot. It's not all over your damn face. So I know what you're thinking. Well, they said that they got the body camera footage of it and they reviewed it and they said everything looks good. Well, only thing I can say is, man, question everything. You got to question everything. You got to question, okay, well, if they say that he fell on his face, who can confirm that story? Not only that, but who did the investigation to this story, to this incident? I mean, and not only who investigated this incident, but was there only one person investigating this incident? Was there two people investigating this incident? How many people were investigating this incident? You know, all these things come into factor. You know, like, I'm really surprised, like, why the GBI didn't come into play, but I understand the GBI, you know, is really busy, you know, especially when nobody dies from the incident. But at the same time, you know, I'm looking at different bruises, you know, across his face. On the forehead, right by his eyebrow, one below his eye, right on the cheek, one by the nose, busted lip, and one on the side of his face. Now tell me y'all, does that look like a random fall, like you just running from the police, like you running from the police for your life and you just fall? Nah, I ain't gonna lie, he probably fell. I ain't gonna lie, he probably did fail. But you don't fall like that, bro. You don't fall like that. There's no way possible you fall like that. There's no way. I mean, I don't see it. And this is another picture. This one looked worse, I guess, because he just got out of the jail. Just got in the jail, coming from the memorial. I was like, bro. So, I mean, the police are saying that, you know, it's not excessive force. But, you know, I don't want to believe the police officers really. I mean, now, once I see the body cam footage, and that can like prove to me that this was, you know, justified, then yeah, you know, I'll say, yeah, you know, I won't even want to say Buddy deserved it, but I mean, I mean, Buddy was clearly in the wrong on certain occasions. You know, you driving around in the morning, around 2:40 a.m. on White Bluff Road. You know, you smell like weed. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a good insurance policy. What it look like? I don't know. I mean, I'm not so sure how police officers do their business with traffic stops. I don't know if they can just call the insurance company at any time of the day and they just pick up, because that's what seemed like what the police officer was doing. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of this stuff don't look like it add up. You know, I'm not, you know, I might have been born in the 90s, but, you know, this stuff don't look like it add up, bro. I mean, Buddy look like he got his ass beat, be honest with you. Like he got a serious beatdown. Well, a semi-serious beatdown. He could have got it worse. But that's what it looked like, bro. I mean, now, you know, it's just, man, bro, like the police, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro, like the police they have some tactics behind them that, you know, and make it look like they're innocent, but, you know, the thing you gotta understand about police is the police nationwide, it's a brotherhood. It's more than a civil duty. They're a brotherhood. They're willing to protect each other's backs, you know, so that way nobody can take a fall or the precinct don't look bad or what have you not. But all I'm saying is this looked more like a fall. And if he did fall, he got more injuries than just from falling. And I'm not going to say who hit him or what hit him or how he fell or, but picture, I mean, come on, y'all. When y'all fall, y'all usually brace. Y'all fall, right? Am I lying? When y'all fall, even if you're falling on accident, I mean, of course you won't fall on accident, but even if you're falling on accident, you don't think you're trying to brace your fall? So you're not gonna do any of that. You're not gonna put your hands out. You're not gonna at least try to fall on your back. I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, I know people pants be saggy and stuff. You know, you couldn't have got, I mean, Buddy looked like he a big dude. It looked like he wouldn't have got far on foot. And to be honest with you, I hate to put this type of advice out, but if you are going to smoke in your car, and believe me, I smoked out plenty of cars in my lifetime, but if you are going to smoke in your own car, don't buy air freshener. Air freshener will not do it if you're smoking weed in your car. If you want to knock out the smell of weed smoke, you need more smoke to knock out the smell, i.e. cigarette smoke, i.e. Black and Milds. Keep that in your car if you feel like you want to burn one, because at any time the police officers can pull up on you. I remember this happened to me. I was going to work in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was in Garden City. Yep, I was in Garden City, coming right off of Chatham Parkway, turning right on Highway 80, making a left on Highway 80. You know, smoking, of course. You know, got to get my smoke in before I go to work. All I see is blue lights. I'm like, fuck. So, put the blunt out, picked up the Black and Mild. Now, if I didn't have those Black and Milds, I wouldn't have smoked in the car in the first place. See what I'm saying? You gotta have something to offset that smell. You know, I gotta give some of y'all a little bit some of this game, bro, because y'all be out here just driving recklessly. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not saying smoke weed, but I'm saying if you're gonna do this, keep some cigarettes, some Black and Milds, whatever you like to smoke. Keep something else in there, so that way, you know, when they pull up on you, they say, oh, well, I mean, they don't have to say anything. You know, you just get pulled over for insurance. You know, they may tow your car, but, you know, you get your car back with $80. You know, get your car at the tow lot. You know what I'm saying? But Buddy got really fucked up. Buddy really fucked up. And this is another picture. And, you know, I don't know, dude. I ain't trying to take up for him. I clearly stated where he was wrong at. You know what I'm saying? You know, don't run from the police, really. Because a lot of times it could be something minor. A lot of times, like, the police, They just want to admit to you doing it, and if you admit to it, they'll let you go sometimes. I remember another story, man. I was this was the week before goodness, and it just passed. The week before St. Patrick's Day, I'm driving, going downtown. You know, downtown still packed, even though it was a week before St. Patrick's Day. But you know, I still want to go downtown. You know, me and my wife. You know, I was on Montgomery. Nope, I was on MLK. About to turn on. Jesus, I was about to turn on Oglethorpe. It had to been Oglethorpe. And then I got pulled over. You know, now I must admit I was smoking in the car earlier that day too. And but you know, on top of that, I had smoked the Black and Mild, you know, before I went down there. So I went down there. Well, I got pulled over, and you know, there's a white police officer. He says, you know, I see your license. He didn't ask me for insurance. And I was like, okay, you know, I give it to you. You know, what'd you pull me over for? He said, you didn't put your turn signal on. I'm like, okay. And I was like, damn, I thought I did it. But, you know, I was like, okay, you know, I agree. You know, it's whatever. So he go back to the car. He come back. He says, you know, it kind of smells like a brief smell of marijuana. I was like, no, not really. You know, I haven't smoked any weed today. I mean, I smoked a Black and Mild, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, you sure you haven't smoked any weed today in here, sir? And I was like, nah, man, you know, I smoked a Black and Mild. And he was like, have you been arrested before? I was like, yeah. He was like, what you been arrested before? I was like, weed. You know, and I didn't want to admit it to him because I was like, man, he might just try to search me. But I admitted to him that I got arrested before. You know, this was like 2013. Oh, was that 2012? I don't know, man. But, you know, I admitted to him. And he's like, okay. Well, I'm not going to bother you with a search. You know, I'm not going to bother you, you know. He gave me my ID back, and he just told me have a nice day. See, sometimes you got to play along with they shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, not even necessarily play along, but just, you know, admit to the fact, like, hey, you know, and I'm not sure if Buddy had some weed in the car or not, but sometimes you just gotta, you know, sometimes admit. Don't give them too much information. Just give them what they need to know. I mean, don't snitch on yourself, of course, but just be like, hey, man, you know, yeah, I've been arrested before. I mean, if they get to asking you this type of shit, you know, when they pull up your driver's insurance and shit, you know, just be honest with them. And really don't run, because running will really make it worse, especially if they got your ID and license. Because if they got your ID and license, of course you want that back, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to give up your license. I mean, then you got to get another one, and I'm pretty sure, you know, they can file a warrant on you by using your address. You know what I'm saying? But do I feel sorry for this dude? I don't know, man. I don't think nobody should get fucked up like this. But as I said earlier, if the body cam footage come out, or footage come out that he fell and he just got knocked unconscious, and you know, I'll review the footage, and if it comes out and I'm wrong about it, I'll correct myself. I'll do another well, maybe I won't do a live stream, but I'll do a video saying, hey, you know what I'm saying, like, buddy got fucked up. But, you know what I'm saying? It's just, that's what it is. But, you know, if the family saying that was true, that he got beat up by the police or assaulted or abused by police, well, you gotta ask, well, you know, where's his, like, lawyer? Where's his attorney? You know, who's speaking up for him? You know, where is all these other people that go to these Black Lives Matter movements and, you know, say fuck the police? You know, where are these guys at? You know what I'm saying? Well, is Al Sharpton? Hell, you know what I'm saying? Like, where are all these people that care about black people? You know, where are they? Nowhere to be found, obviously. But, you know, I didn't want to make this a long, terrible, a long live stream, man. I gotta get up early in the morning, man. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this situation, whether you're watching this live or even if you commenting, a little bit later on by watching this. But let me know what you think might have happened. You know what I'm saying? Because I gave you my input. Like I said, none of this looked like a fall. It don't. It don't look like a fall. That don't look like no type of fall whatsoever. Let me go to the other picture. Let me zoom in on that one. That does not look like a fall. But it's getting late. I gotta get out of here, man. I got so much stuff to do in the morning. It's ridiculous. But I love y'all, man. I see y'all sometime soon. And stay blessed. Definitely.